I'm the first one to say when I screw up, and I screw up royally sometimes.
This is one a Pacific session?
Yeah.
It's now called Cobalt, but yes.
Okay, Cobalt session. Cobalt.
Yeah, colorful Cobalt, whatever.
This is one a Pacific session.
Cool. All right, the recording is officially working, which is excellent. All right, I can help us facilitate. Looks like, is anyone, just write down if you want to help with notes or timekeeping or video indexing. Task responsibility master?
I'll do the document updating afterwards, and I'll help. There's 4 of us, but I'll help facilitate.
Does anyone want to help with the task responsibility master?
Task responsibility master, how that works?
So let's explain it to them. Let's get them into the loop.
Okay, there you go. So anytime we write down a task, you would copy and paste the task from the notes to the priority tasks. Every time we write down a responsibility, you copy and paste the responsibility up to the responsibility section. Anytime we write down a project, you would copy and paste the project up to the priority project section. That's pretty much it.
The sections are on this doc. You just move them to the right part of the doc.
Cool, but we'll do it as a group as we go along. I think it'll be easiest, okay?
Okay.
Right, and that way you can
We'll
learn it.
explain it when we have examples. So let's do, I feel like we're pretty checked in. Does anyone need to check in?
No, I don't think so. We've been working from.
Yeah, I think if anything, we should be focusing on checking out. So
Really.
let's go on to our desired outcomes, getting more organized as a team. I think we need to make sure we have a clear plan for our budget. And what was
just one thing.
Yeah, clear.
All right, you made the doc. Why is the doc still called template session meeting notes?
Oh, sorry.
Just
Thank you.
I think this is
You're
our
welcome.
template. Jorge, I think you
Yeah,
just
that was the
messed up our
template.
template. You didn't.
I know. I know. He just forgot to change it. I know.
Well,
You
no,
know, I just
we
figured
actually changed and messed up our template.
Oh, don't worry. Let me discard this.
So now we need to.
Let me discard them.
Well, but it's not.
you go to
It's not
file,
just
make
you.
a
It's
copy,
both of
and
us.
then you-
Let me discard all this, and
You
I will
can't. You
send
can't
right
discard all of that. It's not possible because I made tons of changes as well. So what you need to do is you need to focus on the task
I
at
got
hand.
it. I got it. I'm going back to the history, and
Exactly.
Well, but focus on the task at hand, which is duplicating it and creating our doc. That's the most important thing that needs to happen as soon as possible.
Okay, I just reverse everything, and this is the right one. I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
Give me a sec. And the owner is America's Community Network.
So Miguel, when you're doing templates, you just have to remember to actually copy and create a new document so that you're actually working on. That's the first thing you do, and as soon as you open it, just
And the copy, you
duplicate
go
it.
to file on the left-hand top corner, and it goes make a copy. Click on that.
And then you also put the date at the top, right? So this would be Wednesday.
Cobalt
November
main
8th.
session notes.
And we also need to stop and redo the
Yes.
recording because the recording is now, or I need to fix the recording link. There's now a link to the wrong document.
The recording is there. All the changes were discarded, right?
I know, but the recording links to the wrong document because you gave me the wrong document.
The new Cobalt is linked to the Hangout. So someone is changing this. I think it's Jay.
What?
No,
Yeah, put the date in there.
Yeah, but
What? What's the problem?
the new Cobalt document template is linked to the Hangout.
Because
And,
someone needs to change the old template back to the old template.
Yeah,
Is someone going to do that?
yeah, I'm doing it now, but no one. I'm doing it now.
Just go to changes and
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
see. And this is what I was saying before, Jay. I just got a calendar notification saying the meeting starts in a half an hour.
What do you mean?
I just got a calendar notification from our calendar saying that the meeting starts at 7 o'clock my time, which is in a half an hour. So I don't know how it was affected by the hour. Does it change all the time on my calendar?
Well, let's double check on our calendar and see what it says. Well, as far as I can see, it's not even in the calendar. I don't even see it in the calendar at all.
I just got a calendar notification for it.
Well, no, it says right here, America's Network Steering Team and Pacific Main Weekly Session is there, and it's supposed to start at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Sorry, I don't understand what's going on. I see two documents in the Cobalt session notes and template session meeting notes.
Okay, all you need is the Cobalt session notes.
Yeah, just take the ones.
Notes. So template session notes, I don't care.
So
No, you can close that one for now.
Calendar,
Okay, so it's the Cobalt session notes. Okay, thanks.
and my Google Calendar, okay. It says 6 to 7, so it should, yeah, so I don't know why I just got it. That's weird.
But it is 6 o'clock. Oh, 6 to 7. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's true. Well, but it should be 6:30 your time right now.
It is, but I'm just saying, for some reason, I think somebody made the calendar with notifications half an hour. I don't know. I just don't know. It's fine.
But it should be. It should have been an hour ago for a half an hour till the session.
Right. It should have been an hour ago to a half an hour. Should have been an hour ago.
There's no notification set on here.
Automatically done, but it's still on our
There's no
computer.
notification set on here.
Well, I don't know where I'm getting the notification from. Let me look at my calendar. Look at my actual calendar. Unity Gregorian scheduled set. It's coming from the Unity Gregorian scheduled sessions calendar. Today, 6 to 7 p.m.
6 to 7 p.m. is the Pacific main session.
My
That's
time,
correct.
which is right.
Yeah,
My
that's
time,
correct.
which is right. But I got the actual notification. So is there something in the calendar for 7 o'clock that I would get a notification now?
No,
That's
but
what
it
I'm saying.
does
Why
say
they
something
skip-
about. It does say something about 5 to 6 being a. Well, I guess I'll do America's time would be 7 to 8. There says a 7 to 8 America's time. There is a buddy team, Stephen J, and buddy team Lilia and Nelly. That seems like it's incorrect. Correct? Should I delete those?
Yeah, that would be in Sonic session.
Well, it's actually the end of
Almost.
Pacific, but
Yeah, the end of Pacific. Yeah.
it looks like maybe Sonic. Oh no, Sonic's correct. That's correct. All right. So I don't know about these, but I'm going to delete them. Is that okay to delete them? It says Andreen created it.
It seems like full.
Then definitely delete it. It's old.
And this one, it looks like you created it.
I haven't put anything in the calendar in a long time. But that might have been third hour.
Okay,
That
cool.
might have been third hour Pacific when I was scheduled with somebody.
All right, so we got our schedule all dealt with. That's one of the most important things to do. Oh, wow, what's all this? Finish payroll if possible. Okay, so first of all, the desired outcome of finishing payroll is not possible, right? That is not possible. And the reason it's not possible is because
Because last month isn't finished yet.
how long would it take to finish payroll if we all worked on it? Hours and hours, like 3 to 5 hours. So we have, how long do we have right now? About 20 minutes. So there's just no possible way. So no agreement on the following, right? So maybe we could try to think of a slightly easier, more simplified proposal for a desired outcome relating to payroll. Clarification on communications, contact verification. That's important. And this also relates to recruitment. Transfer money to Wells Fargo account for upcoming weeks. Well, that's part of payroll, right? Do we want to do this, transfer money to Wells Fargo for upcoming weeks?
Did you say there should be like one weekly?
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Do we have specific things that need to be done as part of the main section? Is there any topics that we need to go through that we can go through quick and then do this afterwards?
I think
Clarification on communications. Maybe the clarification on communications, contact verification.
Oh, look, the money went through. The money is in the account right here. Look, see, we just got the Payza credit. And so that went through today.
Oh, okay.
So the money is now in the Wells Fargo account, which is very, very exciting. So we need to get more in there, but this is confirmed as of today. So that's good. So now that means we can do all of the payroll for Western Union. Woohoo! How exciting is that?
That's great.
Nice. Thanks.
So what I have here again is make a clear plan for our budget. Make sure you have a clear plan for the budget, and a clarification on communications contact verification I think would be good. And also the Selenine calendar would be nice to get clarified. I don't know if we want to talk about taxes or other stuff, but I mean, all this is pretty much group team setup. So we have budget, we have Selenine calendar, we've got payroll, right?
I don't think taxes have much to be talked about. As long as we get that 990 done in the next couple of days, we're good.
Yeah, and
Nothing
the
else
990, I already went through a lot of it already, so.
Yeah, I saw. Nothing else has a deadline until, like, we have to do the, you know, the 1099s and stuff for everybody next month. But otherwise, we're deadline free for a little while. I mean, I'd like to get the Jorge entities, you know, it gives me a chance to do some work on that. But we have to get the rest of the accounts before we can do anything anyway. You know, can't do anything with one account.
Cool. So I think that we are good here. Is this pretty good or what?
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, I agree.
I agree.
All right. So
Yeah, I agree.
let's start with the budget, shall we?
Yeah, sure. So you made a statement, I don't know, yesterday that you were thinking about giving the Cobalt budget, not counting the local headquarters budget, to the Andromeda and the Atlantic. What are your feelings on that?
I think that might be very, very important and necessary. So
I think if Miguel's going to be in the Atlantic budget, I mean, this month he's in the recruitment budget, but next month he wouldn't fit in the current Atlantic budget of $1,500, because that's what the budget is. We'd be short about 250 to 200, not counting any bonuses. We don't count the budget. We'd be short about $240, $250, I think.
Cool. So the first thing I want to do is just pull up the budget doc. So I'm going to go to the budget doc and snag it. Cobalt team budget doc.
And you see, Andromeda is not linked.
I know, so someone should link it.
Okay.
So we can add this as a task, right? So let's go over this with Miguel. So task, link the Andromeda budget doc to the project budget doc, right? And then we make this yellow because it's a task, and all tasks are highlighted in yellow. And then what do we do?
We move it to the right place.
No, we copy it and paste it in the right place.
Excuse me, we copy it back. That's what I meant. I just said it wrong.
Yes. So I copy. Are you watching, Miguel?
Yes.
Then I come up to priority task and I paste it in priority task. So we're going to list all of our priority tasks. I don't know why it says budget here. It doesn't make any sense. Here, okay.
Okay, so you're going to put something on notes, and I will need to put it in the right location, right?
That's exactly
You would,
correct.
you would copy and paste it to the right location, yeah.
That is correct. Cool.
Okay.
All right, so then the other thing we need to pull up is our November, December global budget, because that one also is going to be necessary. So what we can see here is me, James, Heather, Mel, all of us are $3,600. Plus there's a $3,000 recruitment budget, and we have the sextant budget for the senior managers is $500. Okay, so let's take a look. So this would be the buddy teams, and then we have sextant, senior manager is 500. So what that means for here, if we go to the global team budget, we're specifically looking at the team budget breakdown. We have 25 plus 1,000 is $3,500. So the local RICO budget is equal to $3,500. So that's going to be off by $100, which we're not too concerned about, but we can add it. So what I get is we have the senior sextant manager is 500 plus additional 100 is equal to a grand total of $600. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
So if
That is
we needed $600, we go to the Cobalt team, and currently we have 1,250. Right? The total we need for team control is 800. Oh no, 600. So we can start playing around with how much we can reduce. So if we go down to 1,000, whoops, negative 1,000. That's 700. So negative 1,300 is 490. So it'd be negative 1,200, 560. Sounds about right. So if we do 1,200 plus, actually let's do, well, let's be fine, 750. Whoops. 1,200 plus 750 is 1,950.
I might have misspoke. He would actually fit in the November, December. He wouldn't fit in the December, January. That's where my problem is. Because in the November, December Atlantic budget is only 950, but the December, January is 13 and change.
So the question is, where does the money need to go? Does the money need to go, like if we have $1,250 that we don't need in the Cobalt team for at least this month, where do we send it? Do we send it to Atlantic, to Andromeda, or to both, or what?
Shall we split it like equally? Or whatever?
Well, the question is, I would go with that. I mean, are we trying to hire anybody else on the Andromeda? Or do
we already had 750, so if we do 1,250 minus 750, which is already going to Andromeda, that's 500, which would be 250 each. So it was 250 each. This would be this would go 250 here, which would be negative 500, right? And then this one would be minus, so it would be 1,900 minus 250 is 1,650. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the is there a public budget for either of those?
There always is a public budget, and it's 30% of the total.
All right, I didn't know what the figure was, but okay. That would, the way things stand now, at least get everybody covered in the short term. Yes.
Yeah, and the only thing I didn't calculate was the idea of this $3,600 does not include the public budget. So we actually did a $3,600 plus the public budget would be more like $4,700. So note this would equal a $4,700 budget with public budget. Okay, so anyways, let's not worry too much about that, but it might come and play other months. The main thing on that is that the RICO budget is a lot more flexible, but technically speaking, it should still be related to the public budget. But I think we're okay for now. Especially with Mel. Say again, Steve?
I am slowly but surely working on, and I'm going to work with Lilia, hopefully tomorrow, on getting the Atlantic team budget at least ready to be proposed to the Atlantic team, and and proposed to the general, to at the quarter moon session maybe or something, or whatever session is next. I have one or two questions that I might hit you with, but basically I pretty much have it done.
But we still have $700 here. Like it says right here, Atlantic team says $700 budget. Is that enough? Is that correct, or what is it?
That's after what?
Enough.
That is after you guys start with $1,500.
Right.
You give 500 to Andromeda. That leaves you with 700 team control and 300 public control.
Oh, then if we have 700 more team control, then we can cover, Miguel, no problem, and probably Miguel, one other person.
My assumption is that Miguel's probably in the public budget, but we would have to double check that. But I would assume that was true.
Right. Miguel fits in Miguel fits with that 700. Miguel fits fine, and probably one other person maybe for around 350, 400.
Well, it needs to be a buddy team. We're not talking about individuals. We're talking about buddy teams.
Right.
So the buddy team is you, Lilia, and Miguel. It's a provisional buddy team with the three of you.
All right. So what happens to main buddy team, Miguel, Lilia, and Steve?
Miguel, Lilia, and Steve. That's the one I'm talking about. That would be a provisional buddy team, right? Or unless you guys are creating a main buddy team. Are you guys creating a main buddy team?
Well, me and Lilia are a main buddy team, so I guess we can add Miguel to the main buddy team.
You and Lilia with Miguel would be a provisional buddy team. Does that make sense?
Yes, okay. Until we get another person for him to buddy team. Right, yeah, okay.
For just for budgetary purposes, we can stick Miguel with you guys.
Okay, I'll write it up like that. No problem. And I'll talk to Lilia tomorrow, and Miguel will talk, and we'll put him on the budget. We'll make a provisional buddy team budget and do all that stuff.
But still, Steve and Lilia can approve the provisional buddy team with Miguel, right? And approve everybody else's budget, like their budgets within that.
Yes.
Okay.
They got quiet all of a sudden.
Yes.
So a couple things, the other things that we can consider here. Budgeting's not easy, guys. So it's just like, okay, so considerations are, one, does the senior manager position count against the team budget? And the answer to that is no, it shouldn't.
No.
Right? So that is something that needs to be considered, and whether we did that correctly. Another thing that needs to be considered is, should the local SF Bay budget even be included in the team budgets? I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's more complicated than no, because it's like obviously, okay, like the bottom line is that
I think it should be a sub budget, not
basically if you pay yourself money, right? It shouldn't count against the team budgets, right? So this would include, like, Mel is paying herself, Jay, I'm paying myself. Like, it's basically you're bringing in your own money. Bringing in your own money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're paying yourself from your own budgets, and this includes basically all of our buddy teams locally. So, but if we hire a local SF Bay worker, then that has to come out of the team budget. Does that make sense?
I think it should be a separate line item in the team budget, not part of the regular buddy team process. Since it might be one person working by themselves, I don't think it should be part of the buddy team process.
No, everybody has to have a buddy team. Everybody.
I understand, because this person is like chipping in about doing a lot of work for different buddy teams, because it's going to be working with you locally.
So I don't really think it should be. I don't think it goes in the buddy team system. I think it's outside of it as a special situation. Your local help.
It's not, for me. It's not related to buddy teams. Everybody's going to need a buddy team if they're part of the FCAN community network, right? If they're part of our internal systems, they have to have a buddy team. Period. Right. So our goal is to hire more than one local person, right? So hopefully we can get multiple and they can be a buddy team together, and we have other volunteers and other people working here. So anyways, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm not talking about the buddy teams. I'm talking about the budget. Right now we have it separated here, right? So the RICO budget, legal architecture, and RICO local HQ is separate. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, and I think it should be separate because it's, I don't know how to explain it to you, why I think it should be separate. I think that.
Okay, but I'm not saying we need to make a final decision on it now. I'm just saying that we should consider it for future reference. Because right now it is separate. That's fine. And there's also the consideration of the public percentage in relation to local and RICO. Okay. Anyways, so I think that's good enough for now. Is there enough money in the budgets? Like, are we all good? Are we ready for a proposal here, or what?
Yeah, I think we're ready for a proposal.
So basically, the Pacific Sextant budget proposal is $100 towards buddy teams, $500 for senior sextant managers, and then there's $1,000 to Andromeda, and $250 to Atlantic. I think that's correct. Let's see if it works out. So if we do 100 plus 500 plus 1,000 plus 250 is equal to 1,850. I think that's a little low. Because I have the total is 2,000.
Why are you only giving 250 to Atlantic?
Oh, we have public budget of, there's a public budget of 225. What? Say again?
No, forget it. It's okay. I got it.
So then it says here I have 225 for our public team budget. Buddy teams, this is team control, public control. All right, so if we add 225, I'm not sure why it comes out, but it's now 2,075.
75, yes.
So I'm not sure why it's off, but it's not off by too much. You know, it's good enough for me.
The accountant in me says it's never good enough, but I can live with it.
I mean, we could try to figure out why it's coming off incorrectly.
It's not important right now.
So let's just make sure this is up to 1,250 is the amount that we're giving away. So 1,250. Yeah, I think it's correct. So then the 500 senior is $100 here, 225. I think it's correct.
All right.
And this 525 is going towards the senior sextant manager, but that senior sextant manager 525 almost, well, I think it should be included in there somehow. But anyways, okay, so I think we're done with the proposal. Does that look good as far as the proposal?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do it. Steve, Miguel, Jorge, I'll vote yes. Jorge, Miguel, Steve.
Yes, we're going to see some proposal wording up there. I don't see a proposal.
There it is. Okay, I got it. Pacific Sextant budget proposal.
Okay. Yes. Does everybody vote yes?
Steve, you vote yes? Miguel?
Yes.
Miguel?
Abstain.
Abstain.
He doesn't know enough about
I
it.
don't understand what's going on, so I cannot say yes if I don't understand.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so we are good. We have a budget for the Pacific Sextant. And then we need to notify, and update the team budget verification spreadsheet. So we're supposed to have a new team budget verification spreadsheet. It's supposed to exist. I don't know if I've seen it yet, but we said someone said they were going to do it. So, do you want me to go through that right now, or do you guys think that it'll get done?
I think it's okay.
So we should just review it real quick, or what?
Do it real quick.
So I think that was from two. I think that was from 2 meetings ago. We did that. Maybe it was from Australia. Let's check Australia. So if I go to Australia session from Monday, the Phoenix team, and I go to the tasks. Let's go really slowly.
So I wanted to update the message students doc. It's not here, so that's okay.
Create workers hour made session verification spreadsheet. Go over the create session verification spreadsheet, Lucy. Session verification spreadsheet. Cover existing. Okay. That's good. Create new spreadsheet. Update monthly team budget verification spreadsheet. They didn't do it. So let's check to see if it got done. Create worker. Create new view. No.
What is the name of the document again? Team budget verification spreadsheet, right?
Update monthly team budget verification spreadsheet. Here it is. This is it. So they did create it, and this is what's supposed to be in it. And so let's copy and paste this here. Where are we? We're here. So then we have the monthly team budget verification spreadsheet, and it has the Cobalt team, updated budget doc, yes, updated budget for new month. Well, it was no, and now it's yes. Is the budget include the buddy team pay? Senior section, yes. Updated recruitment budget, advances. Is the budget balanced? Almost, right? It's really close.
All right, and I have updated the decision stock in real time, so that's done. That's something that people have to remember to do. It was voted on. As soon as the decision's made, to update the doc.
Yeah. So, I mean, my biggest concern here is the idea that almost/enough. Is the budget balanced? Enough. So, Phoenix team, it says yes. You know, I want to check it. You know, I want to check all these to see if it's really all yes, 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 yes. So we need to, you know, final verification. You know, I would say no, 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 no. So somebody needs to go through. We need to verify to really see whether or not these are actually correct. Does that make sense? And what are we missing here? The Atlantic team, Andromeda team.
I'm working on it.
Is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's all 6 teams. Oh, and then there's the 180 degrees section, which is the Sonic team. Right? Sonic team. Yeah, so there's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. That's correct. Okay. And all of these need to be done for the budget. See if the budget's all done. Very important. Any questions on this?
Steve, if you're working on this, I can help you out this week or next one. Steve?
I'm here.
Did you say that you were working on budget doc?
I'm working on the Atlantic budget doc. Yes, I got to get together with the people in the Atlantic who are getting paid out of the Atlantic sector, which is going to be me right now, Lilia and Miguel. So hopefully tomorrow Lily will be on and we can go over the doc.
Okay.
I should include Nellie because she's the, senior sector manager, but I haven't seen her on in a few days, so I couldn't even bring it up with her. So I'm just going to work on it with, I should be able to finish it tomorrow with Lilia and Miguel, and we'll be able to, link it to the doc and, pay or submit it for it to get passed at the next, whatever session, maybe the Andromeda session tomorrow. I don't know.
All right. I'll make sure I get back to this monthly team budget verification so I can check the different documents. I'll get
I'll be on early tomorrow. On Thursday and Friday, I signed on to be this, the Atlantic Wind senior manager. So I'll be on fairly early tomorrow. I'll be on very early tomorrow. So I'll be around. So I can work on it as one of my individual work, if nothing else.
All right.
So I think another component of this process is, what are the buddy teams that did fit into the budget? Or maybe it's not, maybe it's how many buddy teams fit into the budget, and then which buddy teams didn't fit in the budget, and then the proposal for the buddy teams that didn't fit, Is there a proposal for buddy teams that didn't fit? Okay.
Now that I think about the public budget and the 700 that was left in team control, we actually all fit in the budget in Atlantic, so we're okay. Even without you moving anything, we would have been okay.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I think this is pretty clear. Hopefully, we'll get this all done. But as long as people understand. So the next step here is to check in on the date. So are we good on moving forward? Do people need to check out and leave? We're at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, my only question is, when does the November December start? Jay.
Well, that was the next
mid-December.
That was actually the next topic. Is the budget deadline. So this would be like selling calendar, budget deadline, and selling calendar is the next topic.
All right, we'll get to it. But if somebody needs to check out, go ahead.
All right, yeah. Checking out. Let me just go to the checkouts. Okay, checkout. I'm going to have some food now. Been here since it's 4 hours now.
Kind of
4 hours. Yeah. Hours now, and one thing that just I like about these 2 sessions we have today, 2 or 3 sessions, is like it is very important to accomplish things, to do things. But as Steve said, it's also very important to plan for them, because we were planning like for 1 hour where we're supposed to do with recruitment and local recruitment and the options that we had. And I was feeling like we were not doing it. And at least we found out that we could send, even if it was a tweet, we did something and we got some answer for that. So,
well, you said you said that one in Alaska yesterday, also, didn't you? I mean, on some site.
Yeah, I did. Well, it's good to find out that we can plan things and also do things, but I think that the correct balance is planning and doing. We're still striving for that. That will be me, and I think the session was really good. I would say, in order to evaluate it, it was a 7. Nevertheless, it was short, but we could do some things. 7 will be a good number for me to evaluate this one. So check.
Okay. And in general, it's like 50% time planning and prioritizing and training and getting everything set up, and then You know, 50% time actually doing stuff. So it's about half and half.
Thank you. Anybody else checking out? Miguel, are you checking out or are you staying?
I'm going to stay. I want to try to understand more.
All right, so let me pass the baton to someone who's taking time control. Right now is 37 minutes from the overall time. So I'm passing the baton. Who is taking time?
Okay, we'll just do our best. We shall do our best.
37. I will take it. So I got.
Have a good night. Enjoy your dinner.
Right?
All right. Take care, team. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'll be here in the session for tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks.
Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ciao. All right. So let's
So
go.
I have
Yes, Steve?
just a little thing to say. Corey asked me earlier if I was doing the senior section manager in Atlantic the other days I'm supposed to. I said I did last week and I'm going to do tomorrow and Friday. He might be interested since Nelly hasn't done it in doing it. But I have to follow up on that since he's a little freer during the day now. I don't know. You know, just some, you know, we'll have to follow up with that. Talk to him tomorrow. Okay, I wish Lily was going to be here. I could have worked on the budget with her. Okay,
All right, so we're ready to go to the next
go on to
topic.
the next. Go on to the next.
So I was going to quickly review the budget deadlines and the selling calendar switch, which are basically one and the same. We talked about this in detail on the Austrasia session. And it's right here. We have some of the options. Cool. Okay, so this is a pretty big deal because it affects so many different components of the organization, including payroll, weekly check-ins, finances, accounting, value tracking, you know, dates and organizing, and just all the different aspects of how we function. From there, there's really 5 different options. Either we can switch by the new moon, which is November 18th. This is the ideal. Or we can do the quarter moon, November 26th, full moon, December 3rd, December 10th, quarter moon, and then that's the last possible date that we can switch, which is December 10th, the quarter moon. If we can't switch by then, we have to wait until March 17th, 2018. Does that make sense so far?
Yes, and you know my feeling on this, so I'm not even going to repeat it. I know you told me I'm going to love it, but I'm just kidding. You know my feeling.
What's your feeling?
That will leave well enough alone.
That we leave what alone?
Leave well enough alone. Everybody's used to AMT, AAT, and everything else, and you're going to hit them with a whole new system. And I think we're going to have conflicts and scheduling problems.
Well, it's not going to affect our schedule, right? So
no, but I'm saying I think people are going to be showing up at wrong times until they understand the new schedule.
Well, no, but what it doesn't affect, what it doesn't affect,
it will make it easier, and sure it will. But you know,
it doesn't affect our schedule or calendar or buddy team sessions or main weekly sessions. Like all that still stays on the this all stays on the 24-hour Gregorian calendar.
Okay, then that's fine.
And the reason why that's true is because this is local time, right? And the Selene calendar is global time.
But what's the Selene calendar in UTC?
Well, the way that we would write a Selene calendar time. So, for example, if I go to The moon phase now. Let's see if it comes up. What are the probability? So currently right now it's at 76%, right? So currently right now it'd be 76, point whatever percent is the current Selene calendar time. That makes sense? It's the moon time. It's the moon phase time. And it's actually called the circle moon phase time. Okay?
And what benefit will this bring to the organization?
So the main problems with the Gregorian calendar is it's just like, there's 47 time zones, right? It's very difficult to even try to get focused on UTC because UTC is the same time as all the other times and it just gets confusing. And when we talk about all of our finances and documentations and value tracking, when I write down that right now it's Wednesday, November 8th, it's not Wednesday, November 8th around the world.
It's Thursday, November 9th on the other side of the world.
So,
exactly.
So dates are very difficult. And so with the Selene calendar, there will be a single date for every single place across the entire world at the same time, always. And there's always a specific individual date and time everywhere. So there's never a question about what the date is or what time it is or anything. It's always a single.
When you put that in the time of 78% current Selene time, it's how you can look at your watch and know that.
You can. You absolutely 100% can, and I will show you how that works right now. So if I go to, let me get my, so we're kind of getting on a tangent here and just talking about the Selene calendar in general, but this is going to be part of it is we have to train everybody how to transfer dates and times between the two calendars. So right now I'm just looking for the Hangout. Where did the Hangout go? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the Hangout, and then I want to stop screen share, and I want to start.
Beautiful face.
I don't see me. Do you guys see me?
Yes, I see you.
You can see me. All right, but that's kind of a problem.
You need a shave. You need a shave, Cabrera.
Of course I need a shave. Are you kidding me? I don't have time for that. Let me be right back.
We lost Jay. He'll be back.
Okay, there we go. So now I can see me as well, which is helpful so that you can see this. Can you see my phone now? Okay, good. Look, there's Steve saying something, blah, 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 blah. All right. So if I go to my phone and I click on my app, this is my favorite app right here. It's the Moon app. And it'll tell me exactly the moon time to 4 significant figures of time. So it's 70.2. Okay? That makes sense?
That would be a very good idea to everyone to get that app. So one time to all.
Everyone's going to have to get some kind of app.
Yeah. And we have a whole list of apps and everything. I mean, I've been doing this for years and years. So we have many, many apps and many different ways of telling the time for the moon time. It's called the moon time. Okay. But anyways, all that doesn't matter in relationship to the fact that we can still use Gregorian time for all of our scheduling, right? So Gregorian time and our local time isn't actually the date. It's how we interact and relate to each other. Do you see the difference?
Mm-hmm. Of course, because one of those are sleeping, another one are hanging out, another one are working.
So the current moon time is 70.5746. 70.5746. Okay.
On what date?
That is the date. That's the whole point. The date is 70.46%, right? And there's actually 3 sets of dates, right? There's actually 3 sets and ways to say the Selene calendar date, and that's one of them is the circle moon phase time. There's actually 3 to 4 ways to say it. You know? Okay, so anyways, we'll go into more detail on how that all works, but the point is that 70.5746 is both the date and the time simultaneously. The date and the time are all created in the same way. Okay? And there is a way to write the Selenian calendar date in the same way that you write the Gregorian date, you know, like 10, 12, 17, but it's not as helpful. And we'll go through that in detail, but it's not applicable to right now. So can we move on to something else? To the applicable
Yes.
part? So the applicable part is the options for switching, right? So are we on the same page that we do want to switch, or is there still questions about whether we'd want to switch?
No, yeah, we can switch or whatever.
Yeah. So again, the main reasons of switching is that we're switching all of our finances and documentations and tracking systems to a model that has a single date across the entire planet, and it's all a single time across the entire planet. There's no like with the Gregorian calendar, you have 3 days that can happen simultaneously at one time. Like there's a time in the day where there are 3 simultaneous dates across the planet at the same time. Like as in it's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday all at the same time across the world. It's insane. Right? It's like, how are you supposed to coordinate and organize globally when there's like so many different dates and times, and it's just crazy. So this is going to switch to a single global calendar that's a single date and a single time across the entire world. It's not going to get rid of the Gregorian calendar. There are many, many reasons why we have to continue to use the Gregorian calendar, including all of our local and daily scheduling. All right? And every single session that we schedule with the moon calendar time will also be scheduled with the Gregorian calendar, right? A perfect example is the full moon. So the full moon by definition is 100%, moon time. Does that make sense? And the new moon is by definition 0% moon time. So we equate, in the quarter moons are by definition 50% moon time, right? So this is the quarter moon. This is the new moon, and this is the full moon. So when we do those times are set based on the Selenian calendar, but we actually equate them into Gregorian time so that we actually show up at the top of the hour for the session. So it's very simple for everyone to schedule and calendar with their local time. Does that make sense?
But it's not going to resolve the time of the day of the people like me and you in the previous session.
But we're not asking people to change their time, right? You can be on your local time schedule. No, there's no problem with that. The point is that there needs to be a common global date, which currently doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're not solving by switching to the Selenian calendar. Doesn't mean we're switching 100% to the Selenian calendar. We're switching like 75%. So 25% of all of our systems will still be on both the Gregorian calendar, but primarily on the day-to-day 24-hour, 24 hours in a day cycle. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, the 24 hours of the day cycle is not necessarily related to the date, right? So it can be 6 o'clock America's time, regardless of what the date is. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coolio. All right, so options to switch. Here are the 5 options. We either do one of these 4 options, or the 5th one is to wait until March 17th, 2018 is the next time that the Selenian calendar synchronizes with the weeks of the Gregorian calendar. Does that make sense?
I don't know.
Are you guys on the same page? That option number 5 is that the next time that we can do it would be March 17th, 2018. It's about 4 or 5 months. Okay. So, and I can explain in detail.
I've been talking about it for a while, so.
Well, I've been talking about it since our last opportunity to switch, which was in July, and we didn't do it, and I'm still regretting that decision because it's like all of our global synchronization for all of our time cycles and our equity cycles and our value tracking. It's all not possible to do without the Selenian calendar to the level that needs to be done, right? Okay, so the next thing in it is the proposal. So the proposal, and the way that I'm thinking about doing this the simplest way possible, is that what we realize, so we can realize that for 1 month, or 3 to 4 weeks, just say 3 weeks, there is a general correlation and synchronization between the Selene calendar week and the Gregorian calendar week. Okay? So it's a pretty good correlation. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Does everyone understand that? So the proposal is to create a single month, or 3 weeks, where every single Gregorian date and Selene date will be perfectly matched up, and we can switch between them, right? The next time that'll be possible again will be March 17th. So after December 10th, it will no longer be possible to sync the Gregorian calendar and the Selene calendar, right? And so therefore, it's and perfectly is not the word. We'll match up, right? So because there is no perfectly, right? One is a natural time cycle, and the other one is just a bunch of bullshit. So. And when what is a bunch of bullshit is the Gregorian calendar, it's just totally made up, right? It doesn't actually exist. Whereas the Selene calendar is literally a scientific time. It actually exists in real physical space and time. All right. So the proposal is that if we could create this single month where there is a specific 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1 matched ratio of the dates between Selene and Gregorian, right? It doesn't matter when we create that, it'll give us the opportunity to switch by December 10th. So if we can switch and create all of these, every time someone writes a Gregorian date, it is applicable to a Selene equivalent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically the proposal here is that we vote to switch without being ready to switch. So the only other option would be to create the entire correlation between the Gregorian and the Selene calendar ahead of time and then switch. And I'm saying, like, it's actually possible to switch without creating that individual equivalent, and then it'll allow us the ability to switch over the entire month process, right? And then by the end of the month, if we don't switch, then we need to go back to the Gregorian calendar. So if by the end of the December 10th is our last date, December 10th, we still are not ready, then we would automatically have to switch back to the Gregorian calendar. Okay?
That's an auspicious date.
Why?
I'm meeting Evelyn in Pakistan on December 10th.
Nice.
You know, I'm getting ready to bring my baby home with me, you know.
Yes. All right, so there's one last, does everyone understand the proposal up until now? Because there's one last component of it, and then I'm done.
Go ahead, I got it.
You got it more or less? Okay, so then the last component are the specific dates. The specific date. So right now we have the current. Current due date for the monthly budget is the second Saturday of the month, which is the 11th. So this is
next week.
Saturday. No, it's this week. Saturday, 11th
This week.
of November, 2017. So then if we switch to Selene, the due date for monthly budget will be the new moon.
What budget? Which budget are we talking about anyway? December, January, and November, December?
Yeah, so this would be the monthly budget for November, December budget.
Oh, you just made my day.
Why?
Because I'm going to have, I think that was approved already. I can't change it. So, you know what, I was going to move what I was doing up a month. because it fits in the budget. I was going to put in my November-December budget and get my buddy teammates to approve my new budget.
Yeah, so this will actually give a lot of more opportunities and deadlines, right? Because the new deadline for getting your budget in, like, remember every time we talk about this stuff and we're like, we have a new deadline for, it's the 1st of November, or it's the mid-November, or it's the, the date of blah, blah, blah. First of all, it's really confusing because it's like all of our budgets are like October, December budget, or like November, December budget. It's like really confusing, right? Once we switch the selling calendar, every single budget will be a single month. It'll be a moon month, and it will not overlap between any other month at all, right? It'll be great.
Okay, yeah, understand.
The other thing
that would make life a lot easier.
And it will synchronize with all of our monthly goals, which we create on the new moon. We review them on the full moon. Everybody's due date will now be the full moon, right? To get your budget, your buddy team budgets in, instead of this random like 1st of the month, but we don't really know. And then every time we say the 1st of the month, it's really 3 separate dates because everybody's date of what the 1st of the month is different across the world, right? There's no actual time that's a deadline, okay? So I think it's going to make everything a lot easier. So if we look at the new moon for November, it's November 18th. So this would be November 18th, and it should be either a Saturday or Sunday. And this is a Saturday. So it's Saturday, November 18th, 2017, which gives us an extra week to get the budget done. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I guess so, Rich?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can definitely get the Atlantic team budget done with Miguel and Lilia way before then. So, yeah.
Well, ideally, we would need to get it done by Saturday the 11th.
Well,
otherwise, if we switch,
the next day.
Exactly. All right. So otherwise, we would switch. So then the next date, if we switch, then the next date is due for this would be the equivalent of the December-January budget, and this would be the same thing, monthly budget, and this would be the equivalent of the November-December budget, right? And this would be for the new moon on December 18th. December 18th, 2017. Okay?
Are we still doing budgets 2 months in advance, or just are we down to a month in advance? What are we doing now?
So the new due date, if we switch to this, will be the full moon. So the full moon, which is December 3rd, would be equal to the due date for new budget changes for buddy teams. Does that make sense?
All right.
And this will be for not the December, but for the January-February budget. Does that make sense? So
right.
It's off by 6 weeks. It's always 6 weeks different. Okay, so then the last thing, if you notice here, December 10th is the due date for us to actually switch to the Selenium calendar. So if we're not able to switch to the Selenium calendar, we could do one budget on the Selenium calendar with the new moon, and then if we can't switch by then, the next date for the budget would be it would be December 18th, right here. And then we would just do the 3rd Saturday of the month. Then if we can't switch to Selenium, we would go to the 3rd.
You're not showing your screen, Jay.
On the buddy team, Doc.
Okay, sure.
But I should be sharing my screen though. Either way, let me see if I can figure it out. So that's the whole proposal. That's the entirety that I can think of. So the goal is to try to make it as flexible as possible. It allows us to basically, depending on how good we can get everything ready for the Selenium calendar switch, it gives us the most flexibility. So we were able to switch the Selenium calendar for 1 month regardless. And then if we aren't able to finalize the switch, then we can switch our entire monthly calendar to the 3rd Saturday of the month instead of the 2nd Saturday of the month, and it'll all be pretty in sync anyways. And then we just have to wait for March until we can switch to the Selenium calendar again. And the same thing would be true if we actually switch the Selenium calendar. The next time we'd be able to switch back would be March. So ideally we would calculate the exact times of every Selening day through the end of March.
So is there a proposal in this somewhere? Or do you want to? Okay, I got it.
This basically is the proposal right here. And these are the specific dates, right? So basically the proposal is that the new monthly budget for November, December, which is actually going to be for the new moon, right? It'll be for the moon itself, would be Saturday, November 18th. And then we would have until December 10th to finalize the switch to the Selening calendar before we would, and if we didn't, then we would have to revert back to the Gregorian calendar, and then the next budget would be due the third Saturday of the month.
All right, let's vote.
Yeah, and we're obviously going to vote on this again on the quarter moon. Yeah, but we can vote.
But I can put it in decision stock now, so when I make my decisions form, I already have it in there. You know.
Yeah.
If I put it in, I know it'll be there. Yes from me.
Oh, Steve's a yes. Okay. I'm a yes.
I like it.
Okay.
All right.
Miguel's a yes.
Yes.
So we pass by
agreement.
Approval
Agreement. Sweet. So anyways, obviously we still need to. This still needs to be approved at the quarter moon session on Friday. Cool, but I'm really excited about it. Like, I mean, for me, if I think in my mind where we can be in global organizing in March, if we switch to the Selening calendar, and where we'll be if we stay on the Gregorian calendar, are like total different trajectories in consciousness and time across the galaxy. It's just like it's so like by switching to the Selening calendar, it allows us to go way faster, way better, and it just, I mean, it does take some effort. Everyone has to learn the Selening calendar, but it's really not that hard, and you can look up into the sky and you can tell the date. So it's like it's ingrained into our blood. You know, it's actually much simpler. If you try to teach someone the Selening calendar at birth, or you try to teach them the Gregorian calendar, it would be way easier to teach them the Selening calendar because it's already part of the planet. And it's already part of it's perfectly synchronizes with the Jewish calendar and the Islamic calendar and the Chinese calendar.
Yeah, well, we already work on the Selene calendar. That's what the Jewish calendar is the Selene calendar.
Well, it's related to the Selene calendar, but the Selene calendar itself is a lot more specific and a lot more scientific than any of the other calendars. But it's still it's a lunar solar
calendar first.
Of course it was around first, but generally speaking, they're all lunar solar calendars. That's what they are. So that's why they all synchronize. Yes, I'm very excited about it. All right, so and eventually I actually want to see if we can switch our entire tax cycle with the IRS to the Selening calendar. I don't know if they'll allow it, but
yeah, right, sure, okay.
Yeah, hopefully they will, but I don't know if they will. We'll see. But are you allowed to do your taxes like on, for example, on the Chinese calendar? Like, do they allow you to do taxes on the Chinese calendar?
Nope. You have to. April 15th is April 15th.
Well, no, but you can request for a different calendar, so you can do like mid-year or different dates based on your.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. I mean, I don't know anybody who's ever asked.
Yeah, well, we're gonna ask, and if they say yes, we're gonna switch. If they say no, then we're basically just going to fudge and pretend as if we're doing the Gregorian year, but really we're doing the Selening year because it's just way better. All right.
I mean, you can change your calendar dates. You know, your business, you can go, July 1st to July, June 30th, and for a fiscal year. I mean, you can pretty much make up your fiscal year and tell the IRS what you want your fiscal year to be.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. The only difference between this is like
that says what your fiscal year is.
Yeah. So we should be able to create our own fiscal year, but the Chinese calendar and any lunar solar calendar, the actual day changes in relationship to the Gregorian month based on the moon, right? So it's actually, it's a set date. It's just changing every year from year to year. It changes by a little bit. So as long as the IRS is okay with that, which I think they are, that's what we're going to be doing. But well, that'll be for the 2019 taxes. We would be doing that, not for this year.
Good, thank you. Don't make me nuts.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I think we're done. Should we just check out and then we're good to go for the day?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired. Are you coming back? I'm not thinking I'm coming back for Sonic tonight.
I don't know.
I want to watch the CMAs, Country Music Awards.
Nice. All right, so Miguel, you want to check out? You want to check out first, Miguel?
Miguel?
Are you there?
Miguel. He's there. His screen's there. The mic is off, but he's there.
All right, I'll check out.
All right.
So I thought this was good. I'm as you can see, I'm pretty excited about the Selenium calendar. Good session. Excited about the Selenium calendar. It will be the first time ever the Selenium calendar is actually used, but I think everyone's gonna love it. I think that everyone's gonna like it a lot. In relationship to everything else, you know, there is a lot of work to do. I'm confident that as we hire the people, and you understand this better than anyone, Steve, and also Miguel, it's just like we need people in the Americas that are working with us. It's not enough to just endlessly hire people in the old world and not have people in the new world that we're actually working with. So, you know, we need more
you
people.
And I end up having to work all kinds of crazy hours.
Yeah. So we need more people awake and working with the Americas and Pacific team.
You know.
So anyways, if we can get that done, we will be unstoppable, but we got to do it, and it needs to happen in the next 3 weeks, or it will be hard stop. And what I love about the hard stop, it's going to force us to do it no matter what, you know. So it's gonna happen one way or another.
We have, I mean, at least in this team, we have been prioritizing recruitment and doing stuff. Not just talking about now. If everybody would do that and not just stick to the ways that we've been doing, which haven't been working great, you know, because they do work great for the old world. There's nothing like outsourcing really that covers the Americans. That's the problem.
Well, a lot of everyone that we've gotten, or a lot of people we've gotten, is from outsourcing. Yeah, and it does cover the Americans,
but not in the U.S. Not in the U.S.
Well, but U.S. we get a lot of people who sign up from the U.S., but they're just a lot more expensive. It doesn't fit much in our budget. So, if we're going to hire people in the U.S., we might as well hire them locally in the San Francisco Bay Area. You know. Yeah. So, anyways, do you want to check out, Steve?
Yeah, I think this was, I like small sections. Of course, we tend to be able to get a lot more done without a lot of interruptions. And, you know, it was good for Miguel because he got to, you know, listen to us and, you know, he got to ask as many questions as he wants to without having to worry about interrupting the flow of things. When there's only 3 or 4 of us, you can do that. As always, it's a great session. I wish there were more people here. From this session, you know, I think we lost. I don't know what happened to Mauricio and Olema. I don't know. I hope we didn't lose them, but we'll see what happens. And I'm happy about this thing calendar, I think. And check.
Yeah, I can't wait to show you. I call the Selenium calendar the most scientific, accurate calendar ever created. And it's
You'll win me over eventually.
And it's based on science. It's based on Einstein's theories of relativity and the idea of space-time, that every single moment in time is also correlated with space. So it's actually the first calendar that is based on space-time and not just time as a separate component from space. So every single component of the Selenium calendar is in alignment with a specific space degree on the Earth, right? So we're constantly connecting the time to the space, and it's all based on the percentages and the meridians and everything. It's pretty cool.
Miguel, are you back? Miguel?
Did we lose him?
I don't know. His screen's lit.
Oh wait, it says that he's mute. Miguel, it says you're mute. So if you can hear us, just unmute.
Sorry, I didn't.
There you
go. We gotcha. Yeah, you want to check out, Miguel?
Yeah. First of all, I was talking. I believe I tell this one. Please check if I do the right stuff on the Cobalt session to put the priorities. in the right place.
Oh yeah, let's check. Okay, so we go to the top. Yeah, this is good. So we got our responsibilities, our tasks. Looks great. Yes. Excellent.
Miguel has to get scheduled into a schedule because he was coming on, and you did nothing wrong by doing this, Miguel. But at like 2:30 my time, or 2 o'clock my time, Miguel's coming in. I'm available if anybody wants to work. And I said to him, we kind of work in set schedules. You can always, if you're there, add on. But we don't basically just get on and say who wants to work. But the problem is he's not really in any schedule yet.
Yeah, well, we did schedule him at least for 3 or 4 days a week, right, Miguel? You have somewhat of a schedule, right?
Yeah, I got some of the schedule. Yes.
So it's just a matter of finalizing.
I don't know how early Miguel can work, but I'm doing assistant manager on Thursday and Friday in Atlantic. So if he wants to schedule some time with me in there, we can do that also.
Okay. Great.
That's not independent level 4 buddy teams. That'll give me somebody to work with while I'm doing,
Well, again, independent level 4 buddy teams are separate from senior sextant manager time.
Right.
But senior sextant managers can schedule 2 buddy teams, one anytime and one during one of their senior sextant management. But you should make it available to everybody, not just Miguel. So schedule it, put it on the calendar, let everyone know. Good to go.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm on the calendar for the senior sextant already.
Great.
For 2 days, and starting next week for Monday in the Pacific.
Cool. Oh, you're gonna do a Pacific one? Wow, that's exciting.
So when's the last time you looked at the schedule?
Too long ago. Not a big deal.
Wait, because I put it on like last week.
Nice. That's exciting. All right.
Yeah, because I work this shift at least 3-4 days a week. And I'm going to have a problem with Fridays in the Atlantic because now that we changed the calendar, if I want to go to Tempo, it's like 4 o'clock, 4:30.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I just be getting done. So it's not that big of a problem. But,
okay, well, let's let Miguel finish his checkout.
All right.
And so I'm very happy. Thank you very much. I'm learning, and that's great. I believe it's going to be a good time set up for us.
Great. Awesome. Well, we are very happy to have you here, Miguel. And it's just getting new people involved and getting people connected, and we hope to have a very long, prosperous, work relationship.
Right. I tell everybody it takes a month before you actually understand what's happening, because there's so much going on. It takes about a month to assimilate it all and figure out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, it does. And even then, we're so.
I want to do more, but okay, I'm watching a lot.
Exactly, and even after a month, it's still we're just not as organized as we want to be. I want to get everything 10 times more organized than it is. I want to do more verification, spreadsheets. I want to be double checking every single responsibility every week, every day, to make sure everything's getting done and that we are following through with things. I want to get everything synced into our websites. I want to get everything synced into our project management systems and platforms. And it's just like and then get all the social media and the public launch and bring in more money. I mean, there's just so many. We're like not even.
Well,
like
I'm going to use my individual time that I have in my managers to try to catch up on main lists of examples. It is my responsibility. I accepted this responsibility to see who has accepted oversight for all the different responsibilities and start doing what we talked about last night. Telling them, look, you took on this responsibility. Now here's the list of people that said they're going to do it. Start getting on them to do it, and you have to check them all the time. It's not Jay's place, my place. You accepted this. You got to check on them. And if there's a problem, then you can go either to me, and then if I can't handle it because I'm overseeing the organizing, then I'll go to Jay or to the sector manager or the person. But you have to do the initial verification checking every day. I can't do it. Jay can't do it. There's only 24 hours in a day.
Yes, and that's what we're hiring people to do. We want people to step up and help us manage. Like me, like the best thing for me and Steve to be doing is working, because we are really good hard workers. We work really fast, and so we need people to help manage our work and other people's work so that we can work. You know, so it's like someone needs to be managing and verifying that all the work's getting done, because we don't have time to do that work as well, and other people can help out with work as well. So it's like we're all working as a team. Me and Steve are going to be helping manage certain things. Other people have to help manage everything, other things. And people need to understand that, you know, being a manager of something like payroll has nothing to do with being responsible to getting payroll done, right? The responsibility of the payroll manager, the payroll co-coordinator, is to tell everybody at the team meeting the payroll's not getting done or the payroll's getting done. That is literally the extent of their responsibility. If the payroll's not getting done, their responsibility is to tell everybody at the quarter moon session or at the full moon session, the payroll's not getting done. People aren't, you know, doing what they said they were going to do. And it's not that person's responsibility to get it done when other people sign up to do it, right? Their responsibility is only to manage and check off whether or not the work is getting done, not to actually do the work. They're delegating the work. Yeah.
That's our version of responsibility organizing. You don't do the work. Yeah. You make sure the people that said they can do the work are actually doing the work.
Exactly. And that's what a manager or coordinator would be doing.
Okay.
So people can actually take on multiple coordinator positions.
Jay's the ultimate coordinator for the business. I come somewhere below Jay, and then there's the senior managers, and then there's everybody, though. Everybody has to take responsibility.
Well, but again, Steve, we want to use the vocabulary really carefully. And it's not that we're coordinators, we're actually executives. We're executives, and we're executive officers at the level of, like, you know, the executive level and the board level and the membership ownership. Everyone's a member and owner, but we need managers. Like me and Steve are good executives and we're good workers, but we can't be the only ones doing the managing, right? There needs to be more.
There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough hours in the day.
So management's not particularly hard, but it's just a lot of, like, tasks. It's a lot of work and tasks and reviewing all the
responsibilities that need to be managed.
Yeah. So anyways, I think within a month or two, Miguel, you will be more than capable of taking on multiple managing positions and or coordinator positions, and we'll be supporting with that. The big positions and where it gets more responsibility and oversight aren't the manager and co-coordinator positions. It's the executive positions that are much more involved. Okay?
Tell me about it.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am very aware of first seeing what's going on, to understand what's going on. That's essential to everything in my life. So thank you very much for the opportunity. And yeah, step by step.
That's the only way to do it. Indeed. That's how everything gets done. One foot in front of the other, one step by each step. That's how we get everything done.
Yes, indeed. All right, cool. I will talk to you guys all very soon, and have a wonderful night.
Okay. I don't think I'm coming back on tonight unless they specifically message me with something.
37 minutes from George, and 40 plus 41 minutes from there. Okay. The session is
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
on your work reporting, Doc, you have to put down you link your buddy team sheet, Doc, from earlier. You link this team to this meeting, Doc, to your work reporting, Doc. You put down the amount of time in each section to the right of that, to the right of the link.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know how to do it. I already done.
Okay.
Thank you
Have
very
a good
much.
night.
Okay.
Goodbye.
All right, great.
Thanks.
See you guys later.
You know where I am if you
For
need me.
sure. All right, bye guys. Ciao.
Bye. Go eat something, Jay.
I will. I'm gonna take a break. It's
all right.
Mm-hmm.